Hi everyone, welcome back to Grade 10 Maths with Mr. Simons, where we make maths simple and get you exam ready, right? So today's lesson, we're looking at trig functions. This lesson we introducing you to a tan graph and the effects of A and Q. Remember with the sine and cos, A affects the amplitude, but the tan graph has no turning point, so no amplitude. So we're going to look what this A does, and remember correctly, Q shifts the graph up and down, right? So without further ado, let's go look at the lesson. Right, so given there, y equal 2 tan A plus 1. Right, so tan A, or normal period of a tan graph, 180 degrees, meaning to draw a complete tan graph only takes 180 degrees. So you see there's a complete tan graph. That's what it's supposed to look like. It goes here from 90 to 270. 270 minus the 90 would give me 180. The range, this graph can come all the way down and continue all the way down. Can continue all the way up there. Therefore, the range y element of real numbers. If you want to y element of negative infinity to positive infinity. So I hope you follow that. Right? Now, they have used the table. So tan of 0 will always be 0. So therefore, that should be 0. But plus 1 changes it to 1. The tan of 45 will always be 1. So 1 times 2 gives me 2. 2 plus 1 would give me 3. Tan of 90 is undefined. 135 gives me negative 1. So negative 1 times 2 would give me negative 2 plus 1 gives me negative 1. If I punch in tan 180 times 2, right, that gives me minus 2, or basically 0. Sorry, I'm lying. Tan 180 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. Plus 1 gives me 1. Tan 225, right, that would give me 1. 1 times 2 would give me 2. Plus 1 gives me 3. Tan 270 is undefined again. Tan 315, there would give me negative 2 plus 1 would give me negative 1. And tan 360 gives me 0 plus 1. So initially, as you can see, the first point here is supposed to be by 0 and 0. No? But a plus 1 moves the graph 1 unit up. So you see that purple line there is to indicate that all the points have moved 1 unit up. So instead of having 0 and 0, we have 0 and 1. There, instead of having 45 and 1, the 45 now has moved to 2, but 2 plus 1 gives me 3. So there it makes 45 and 1 makes contact now at 45 and 3. Right, so the 2 there simply means it's at 2 units now and no more at 1 unit. Plus 1 then gives me 3. Same here at the bottom, the tan 135 supposed to be by, or well, technically it stays the same. Tan 135 is negative 1. But now negative 2, so if there was no plus 1, this would have read 135 and negative 2. But a plus 1 then moves it 1 unit up and it goes to minus 1. That would have read 180 and 0, now reads 180 and 1. That there would have read with the 2, 225 and 2, but plus 1 makes it 225 and 3. The same applies to the other side. So I hope you can see how we plot the graph. So we have that one part there. If we plot the 2 points, take note 90 degrees is undefined, so it's an asymptote. So that line cannot touch that graph. I hope you follow, you understand. Same here by 270, I can continue, but the closer we get to the line, we're not allowed to touch the line. We must stay on the inside of the line. We make contact to the line. That line is no more asymptote, and we have to then give you 0 for the problem. Same here, going up, and there we're only plotting from 0 to 360 as given normally to you. The domain would be given to you. Right, let's look at the next slide so you get the concept. Right, so this one here now, we have 3 tan A minus 2. So tan 45, so if you say tan 0, it's 0, no? 0 times 3 is 3, but now minus 2 means it's minus 2. So technically the minus 2, instead of making contact there with a black line, this whole graph is moved 2 units down. Does it make sense? So I hope you follow. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So all my points I would have plotted on that line. I'm now plotting on the purple line, which is 2 units below. Minus 2 means we move 2 units down. The period is still 180 because they only have A. So from 90 to 270 is 180 degrees. Right, to get the values again, 1045 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3, but 3 minus 2 would give me 1. So there we have 0 and negative 2 and 45 and 1. Plot them and we join them. But take note, 90 degrees is undefined. So at 90, we have a asymptote. So the graph can't make contact at 90. If we come to the other side, 135 is negative 1. Negative 3, negative 2 gives me negative 5. So I plot my point at 135 and negative 5, which is somewhere there. Then 180 would give me 0. 0 minus 2 should give me negative 2. So there we have 180 and negative 2. 225 give me positive 1. 1 times 3 gives me 3. 3 minus 2 gives me 1. So there 225 and 1, which is somewhere there. We plot that point. 270 is undefined. So if we join those points, you can see the graph don't make contact with the two asymptotes, right? If it makes contact, then your graph is not valid. Same with 315. 315 is negative 1. Negative 1 times 3. Negative 3 minus 2 gives me negative 5. So 315 and negative 5. And then 360 and negative 2. Right, so you see there, the 3 there just changes what's the value by 45, the value in front. The value at the end, the Q value, moves the graph either up and down. So I hope you understand and follow. Right? Feel free to leave any comments. If you like the lesson and don't want to miss out on any other lessons, please like and subscribe. I wish you nothing but the best. God bless. Bye.